am 29 years old man. Let me begin with some background. My dad died when I was 6 and it was just me and my mom for a few years before she met Dan. Dan was okay and they got married a little over a year after they met. I was 11. A few months after my mom and Dan got married, Dan's ex said she wanted to move with their daughter to another state. Instead of saying no and fighting it, Dan and my mom decided we would move to follow them, and that had us moving 8 times in 5 years just so he could follow his daughter around. He never fought it in court and they uprooted me every time too. I was resentful as hell. I was away from the rest of my family and chasing after a stepsister I didn't really care if I never saw again. I know my mom cared and Dan cared and they were married. But I felt so unsettled when we never knew how long we'd stay, and Dan even admitted his ex didn't want us nearby so she'd keep moving when she could. But then my stepsister and her mom were in an accident. Her mom was mostly fine but my stepsister was left with life-altering injuries and became disabled to the point that she needs around-the-clock care. Dan and my mom put down roots in the last location and ended up with custody of my stepsister. They have devoted their time to caring for her. While I moved when I turned 18. This was a source of tension between me and Dan because he had expected me to be there for his daughter and to one day take over her care. But I told him that would never be me. It made my mom sad to be away from me, and she and I argued over my choice to leave and to hold a grudge against their decision to move so much. She argued about wanting to keep the family together while I pointed out she tore me away from mine and removed my stability. I started dating my fiancé a decade ago and we got engaged last year. Our wedding is this year and we sent out some save the dates with some details on it for everyone. My mom called and acted surprised that I was getting married in town where I live instead of where she and Dan are living. She told me my stepsister could not do that kind of commute and how did I expect them to be there. I told her if they could not make it I would understand, but my life was here and this is where I would get married. Dan called to tell me how selfish I am and how fucked it is to choose to marry somewhere my stepsister can't access. He said it would have been no big deal for me to go there for one day to get married. I hung up the phone on him because I didn't want to listen to BS like that. My mom has brought the topic up some more and I told her I was not traveling just for them to be able to go. She got upset and asked me if I really felt okay with my only sibling not being there. I told her she didn't want to hear my honest response to that, but yes, I'm okay with Dan's daughter not being there. I said I can live without her there if she's just going to come and tell me how I should have gotten married where she lives. She said it feels like my choice is a punishment for their decision to follow Dan's ex and daughter when we were younger and how she doesn't think that's entirely fair and especially not to my stepsister. Comment 1. You had to move around to suit them, now they can move for one day to your wedding. Why should all your other guests where you live have to travel to another town? They didn't consider your needs in the past, you certainly are NTA. Comment 2. It's your wedding, and you shouldn't have to cater to their past decisions or make huge sacrifices just to accommodate someone who hasn't been a big part of your life. You've already compromised enough by trying to keep the family together, but your day should reflect your choices, not their expectations. Comment 3. NTA. Tell your mum you don't see the point in making everyone you've invited travel to where they are just to make her and Dan's life easier once again. It's her turn to chase you. It's one weekend at most. Logistically, it would be a nightmare to plan a wedding in a place you don't visit often or to rearrange everything you have already planned. Especially for one person you aren't fussed about being in attendance anyway. Story 2. My boyfriend has a friend who is currently doing the whole #vanlifing thing and living out of his van. The past several months, this friend has been coming by our house a couple days a week. Each time he's here, he stays around 10 to 12 hours to use the shower, kitchen, washing machine, and Wi-Fi. I've been unhappy with the lack of privacy and the extra work for quite a while, which my boyfriend is well aware of, but have been putting up with it because the friend is down on his luck and could use some help. However, now that I'm pregnant, I'm ready for this situation to end. I want to be able to lay on my couch without pants, not shove my giant, tired breasts into a bra constantly, and talk about my private medical details with my partner without having to whisper about them in another room. I'm also just worn out in general, and the friend is generating so much extra work. He comes into our home after doing construction jobs and tracks in tons of dust and dirt. Every time he showers, he somehow leaves a thick coating of body hair all over the shower I have to clean up before I can shower again. After he uses the washing machine, there's sticks and leaves and sand all over the laundry room. Not only does he hog the kitchen when I want to cook meals sometimes, but he also leaves all his dirty dishes for me to deal with afterwards. Ideally, I'd have my boyfriend deal with the extra work, since he's the one who's inviting the dude over, but with his busier work schedule, most of the household work falls to me. So to me, it's a no-brainer that the friend finds somewhere else to be for a couple months to give me some privacy and a break from the added work. However, when I brought this up to my boyfriend and told him it was time to set a boundary with the friend, he told me it was first of all, a very awkward and weird thing to ask his friend, and secondly, a cruel and insensitive thing for me to request. He's willing to do so for me, but at the same time, is making it very clear he thinks I'm a monster for even asking him to do this. Is it actually reasonable for me to put a no visitors rule in place for a few months or not? Comment 1. NTA: He has overstayed his welcome by being a horrible guest. These are just the consequences of his actions. As a grown adult, he shouldn't even have to be asked to scrape the grime that falls off him and his clothes off the surfaces he dirties up. I'm picturing an adult Pigpen from the Peanuts comic strip, and I definitely wouldn't have wanted him polluting the space I was trying to get ready for an infant, or have signed up to be his unpaid maid. Comment 2. Great. Then your boyfriend can pick up and clean after his friend starting today. He doesn't care about how exhausting it makes you, so you can also overlook how exhausting his work schedule is. That'll help him understand where you're coming from. Hopefully your partner can come to his senses and realize you're pregnant and shouldn't be stressing or doing so much work like that anyway. Comment 3. NTA. But you need to stop picking up the load your BF should be carrying. His friend, his invite, his cleanup job. This is why he thinks it's not a big deal. I'd suggest being somewhere else when said friend visits so that BF has the opportunity to see the chaos. Story 3. 24F, am a single mum of an 8-year-old. I was in a bad relationship as a teen, which led to me being pregnant. I haven't exactly dated since, maybe been out on a few dates. My daughter has a condition called AFID. It means she has a very restricted diet, and it is very much connected to her ASD. I don't force her to eat certain things that are her unsafe foods. Since her diagnosis, I've been quite sure I might have it too, but I cook for us both and am self-sufficient, so it doesn't bother me day to day enough to think about it. Anyway, about a month ago I went on a date, to which we went out to dinner, and it was amazing. He was so open to meeting my daughter in the future and being a family man. I only do serious relationships, so yes, this is stuff that was discussed on the first date lol. The second date was a week ago. I went over to his place, not for anything weird, just to watch a movie. He then made dinner. Don't get me wrong, it looked amazing, but I felt awful telling him I actually couldn't eat it. Usually if something is an unsafe food for me, such as melted cheese, vinegar, I'll still choke it down to be polite, and just vomit and cry later. But he had put my one hard no in there. Mayo. I hate it, but more importantly I'm actually just allergic to eggs. Pretty severely. He knew this, as I told him on the first date. He was cool with this on the date. Once he gave me the food, I apologized so much, but I couldn't eat it. He replied with, "Once we get you past this mayo thing, my daughter's name can get over her crap too." I was pretty mad about that comment, and snapped back that I'm not eating his gross food and to not talk about my daughter like that. He apologized instantly, saying that's not what he meant and that it was a stupidly rude joke. I said I was sorry for calling his food gross, it actually looked really good. We ordered some macas and I went home soon after. He seemed okay. About an hour later, I texted him that I had a lot of fun and sorry about the situation. He said it's fine, just didn't have to be such a dick about it. I was confused. We went home happy. I apologized some more, and he brought back up me saying it was gross and refusing to eat it. He was completely ignoring the allergy part of it and saying you really need to get over this, Cass. It's childish and it's not the way you raise a kid. Things like that. I know being picky is annoying, but I don't feel like I did anything too wrong. Comment 1, NTA. He's not the one. Based on his attitude and what he said and how he acted, he's the type to not believe allergies are real. Food will continue to be an issue with him. He's already proven he's close-minded about legitimate disorders and food allergies, and has been rude, condescending and judgmental. He's not going to magically grow up and become a considerate and understanding partner. Please don't subject your child to his attitude. He seems like the type to forget your allergies and sneak ingredients in to test you. He's not a safe person. Comment 2. NTA. Stop apologizing to him. He's the R. You have an allergy to eggs. That's not something to mess with. He then put you and your daughter down. This is not the man for you. This man disregarded your allergy and thinks he can fix you and your daughter by forcing you to eat stuff you can't. Dump him and find yourself someone who will respect your allergy and her sensory condition. Comment 3. So he gave you stuff he knew were allergic to and didn't like, insulted you and your child, and you kept saying sorry? Seriously? NTA, can't see wood for the trees, but NTA, story 4, I've, 14F, been living with my aunt, my mom's sister, since I was 8. It was originally because of an issue with her ex-boyfriend, and CPS placed me with my aunt. Then she used to say she couldn't handle 4 kids as a single mom, so I had to stay with my aunt. Then we just didn't talk for a few years. My aunt has been trying to adopt me for years. We're finally able to try to get my mom's parental rights terminated because she didn't speak to any of us or send money or anything for 4 years. I really like living with my aunt. On Tuesdays we go out to eat. She says we take turns choosing the restaurant, but I get to choose almost every week. On Fridays we order pizza and watch a movie and eat ice cream in our pajamas on the couch. When I started middle school, she started taking me to get my nails done with her, so now we do that every other Saturday and at least once a month, sometimes more during summers or school breaks. We get to visit her condo in the mountains. There's a little beach, and the past couple years she's been letting me hang out with my friends or alone by the beach or downtown or at the pool or wherever, as long as I keep my location on my phone and I'm home by the time it gets dark. After my mom got notice that her rights were going to be terminated, she got in contact with my aunt and started emailing my old email address saying she misses me and she wants to see me. She's sent me pictures of her new family, and she's sending my aunt money so she can say she's a part of my life and she's taking care of me. My aunt told me not to contact my mom yet and to let her take care of everything. I listened for a while, then my mom sent me a picture of a bed at her house with a bunch of shopping bags on it, and she said that's my bed and she has presents for me and she can't wait for me to come home. I emailed her back and told her that I don't want to live with her. I haven't seen her or talked to her for 4 years, and I don't even know who half the people in the pictures she sent me are. I also said that I really love living here and that if she ducks up my adoption I'll never forgive her and I'll never speak to her after I turn 18. My mom called my aunt crying about what I said, and my aunt got mad at me because she told me not to contact my mom. Now I'm wondering if I was the a-hole for contacting my mom when I wasn't supposed to and being rude to her. Comment 1. YTA, but softly. Your aunt told you not to talk to your mom not because the things she's saying is correct, but because she doesn't want you to mess up the adoption process. You're a kid, you don't know what you're saying, and it's really easy to accidentally say something that messes it up legally. Especially since it's over text, every single little thing that's communicated is going to be heavily scrutinized by your mother's legal team. More than that, if you talk to her, your mother is going to get super defensive and try harder to block this from happening. If you trust your aunt, bear it and listen to her. You're not a bad person, but you're not the one who is supposed to be in charge of what to do right now. Please let her get you all through it. Comment 2. I think your aunt is concerned that if you start emailing your mom, she won't be able to say to the courts that your mom has gone 4 years without communicating with you, so this maybe could hurt your adoption process. Best to talk to your aunt to understand better. Nah, good luck. Comment 3. A gentle YTA, I'm sorry you're going through this situation. You're only 14 years old, it's understandable that you reacted that way, but yes, you may have made it difficult for your aunt in the process. I hope it all works out. It sounds like you and your aunt are a great pair. I, 32F, have been with my fiancé, 38M, for almost 4 years. He has a daughter, 15F, from his first marriage. Her mom is very much in the picture, but she's more of a wine and vibes parent than someone who actually parents. I've been the one handling school stuff, doctor's appointments, making actual meals instead of Postmates every night, helping her through panic attacks, you name it. Now, I never tried to replace her mom, but I've been a consistent, caring adult in her life. I even helped plan her last birthday party when her mom completely forgot the date. Like, I've seriously bent over backwards for this kid. Fast forward to last weekend. We're at this fancy dinner with my fiancé's family, first time his extended family has met me, so I'm trying to make a good impression. Midway through, his daughter turns to me, smiles sweet as pie, and goes, "So how does it feel being a gold digger with a uterus? That's what mom says you are." Whole table stops. Someone chokes on their wine. I just sat there stunned for a second and said, "Oh, honey, I'm not your mom. I just happen to be the woman keeping your life together while she's out getting her chakras aligned." Fiancé was mortified. His daughter burst into tears and stormed out. He later said I stooped to her level and that I need to apologize because she's just a kid repeating what she hears. I told him I've spent years being disrespected and taking the high road, and maybe the real problem is that a 15-year-old is walking around thinking she can say things like that and not get clapped back at. Now his family is split, some think I was too harsh, others say I just finally said what no one else would.